Okay, we're live on YouTube. Here we go. Start off with our titles. Okay, we're live on YouTube. Start off with our titles.
But if I did, something tells me I would have spent a lot of money.
I've just started a new job this week.
But if I did,
boss came over to us and
something
says,
tells me I would have spent a
your old
lot
boss
of money.
has sent your reference over from the helium factory. He speaks very highly of you.
I have a friend. She said she's going through a divorce. I said, hey, it could be worse. You could be going through a marriage.
It's tradition in our family. My partner and I, we like to send our children to stay with their grandparents every Halloween. So we think it's very important that children spend time with their grandparents. Plus, where better to spend Halloween than the cemetery?
My husband and I, we don't have any kids, but I am turning 30 this year, and I have noticed a weird thing, which is that I have been wanting to spend more time with babies, you know, like fresh babies, you know, like new babies. Like I've been wanting to deliver babies. And I realized that what's happening to me is that I'm having a midwife crisis.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the second edition of Punchline Online. We are absolutely delighted to have you watching and taking part. We've got a brilliant lineup tonight of 6 comics, 4 of whom are from the USA, 2 from the UK. One of them from the USA is living in Germany. So it's a real international lineup, great talent. And the feedback we got from the first Punchline Online was absolutely brilliant. I think 115 people have seen the video on YouTube, and great feedback. And we're delighted to be here again because we believe that writing one-line gags, wordplay, puns is a really special kind of creative art, and we don't think we get enough recognition on the circuit, certainly not here in London, where a lot of people just sneer at us and say, oh, you're just telling dad jokes. Well, our jokes are the best, crafted by brilliant writers and performers. So let's hear it for the one-line gagsters tonight. Let's have a round of applause for everybody. Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So because we've got a bit of an American lineup tonight, I thought I'm not going to do many puns tonight because the wife's told me I can't. So I've just written 3 puns for our American friends just to make them feel at home. So the first one is, right, you don't want to mess with an American guy's cartilage. It's a fellow knee. I keep telling you, they're all good. Okay, and then I heard that the NFL went bust. They had to call in the receivers. No, okay, all right. And finally, where do American elderly kleptomaniacs live? Nantucket, and that'll be my lot for the night. Okay, so anyway, tonight we've got 6 great acts, as I've said. Also, let's hear it for our brilliant producer, Kyle Davis, who puts in an enormous amount of work getting the thing together. Great stuff, Kyle. He's not watching the rugby, don't worry. And we're also going to announce, it's not an interval, but after the 3rd act, we're going to announce the winner of last month's Joke of the Month. Okay, so that's something to look forward to. And I want to tell you this as well. We have applied to take part in the online Edinburgh Fringe. And if we do, then we're going to be doing different nights there. And hopefully all of you will get a chance to show how brilliant you are. So that's a little bit about what's going on. Shall we get started and waste no time at all? I'm going to introduce our first act. Now, this is a gentleman from New Jersey, and he only goes by his surname, but I've seen him before. He's an absolutely brilliant gangster. So let's give a lot of love and a lot of noise and a lot of applause for Goldberg. Whoa.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. You're announcing the joke of the month? I thought it was already announced. Wasn't it the Oprah interview with Prince Harry? That wasn't it? I'm all confused. I don't know how you guys do in the UK. All right, listen. I know what people are saying. He's not Goldberg. He's not Goldberg the wrestler. Right? Everyone, oh, where's Goldberg? Yeah, I am Goldberg the wrestler. This is what Goldberg the wrestler looks like after a year in the pandemic. Things are closed. I can't even go to get my hair cut. Actually, I do get my hair cut the same place Boris Johnson gets his cut. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, can you believe this has lasted so long? You know, I'm starting to doubt that the COVID came from China. Nothing in China lasts this long. Nothing made in China lasts. It's just ridiculous. It's crazy. I'm sorry. Where I live, they put smokers on the vaccine list. So I've been smoking a pack of cigarettes every day to get my vaccine. Crazy. It's crazy what it's doing to us. I mean, it's like in the past, like you always want to seem younger. You know, now like I'm saying I'm 5 years older than I am. And God forbid if anyone used to call you fat, you would be insulted. Now it's like, oh no, I'm not fat. I'm morbidly obese. Give me the damn vaccine, for God's sake. Crazy. I mean, it's just like, and like, you know, what it's doing to our whole psyche. My neighbor was a real SOB. He's a real big shot, and he always walked around saying he's a nuclear physicist and how important it is what he does. 2 days into the pandemic, I see him on the stoop. I said, Leon, what are you doing home? He goes, I'm a non-essential worker. The nuclear physicist is non-essential, but barista at Starbucks is essential? How crazy is that? It's nuts. I mean, I walked into the T-Mobile store the other day and I said, my phone is broken. He says, well, it's going to be a 40-minute wait and you can't wait inside. I said, okay, how do I know when I can come in? He says, I'll call you. I said, great. So can you fix my phone first? It's just crazy what's going on. I mean, it really is. And let me tell you, some people, please, I beg of you, wear your masks. I've been wearing my mask for so long, I got tan lines on my face. One time I took my mask off, and now I'm suffering. I'm suffering in pain. I knew I shouldn't have taken off my mask at the dentist's office. and now, I don't know about in the UK, but in America, they're saying, the CDC is saying you should double mask. Wear 2 masks. Really, it's true. I'm not surprised because I have always believed people are two-faced. And they're saying gorillas and lions, animals are getting COVID. So please, people, stay at least 6 feet away from gorillas and lions. You don't want to get COVID. All right, let me explain my name. I used to have a first name, but then I came out. It did not go well. It really broke my heart, which is surprising because my cousin, you know, he was a male and then he started identifying as a female. And they were so nice to him. My family was so nice to him. They bought him new clothes. They took him to Broadway shows. I decided to identify as Orthodox Jewish, and they flipped out. That on your head. Oh, you're going to go to heaven and we're not? What is wrong with you? You're putting us back a generation. And then, you know, once I started wearing the kippah, everyone just started, wherever I go, they kept going, Goldberg, Goldberg. So I'm like, what the hell? I don't need a first name. But it's so hard because there are so many Jewish comedians, and it's so hard to distinguish yourself. as a Jewish comedian, but for me, it's easy. I'm the one that's not funny. But really, I actually came out Jewish when I visited Israel. Israel's a beautiful place. I don't know if you've ever been, but everyone's fighting over Israel. Everyone's fighting. And it's the size of New Jersey, really. It's the size of the state where I live. And, you know, do you know what the other 49 states in America would say if a bunch of Jews took over New Jersey? You know what they would say? Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I love being Jewish, but man, our holidays, man, they are pretty whacked. Pretty whacked. We had the holiday of Hanukkah last month. You know, it's a miracle. The light was supposed to last one night. It lasted 8 nights. You call that a miracle? Keith Richards is still alive. That's a miracle. Kris Jenner is Caitlyn Jenner. That's a miracle. A woman to have sex with me and marry me. That's a big miracle. Next week, the holiday of Passover. And the story goes, the Jews didn't have time for the bread to rise because the Egyptians were running after them, so they had matzah instead. That's the story. So in other words, people, no matter what's going on in your life, what crisis you're dealing with, there's always time to eat. Fire alarm, schmire alarm, where are you going? Sit, make a sandwich. You don't know how long you're going to be outside. I mean, like, how did that go? Think about this. How did that go? Oh, my God. Dad, we have to go. The Egyptians are coming. Oh, Shlomi, I'm so tired. I worked all day on the pyramids. That Pharaoh is a real slave driver. Your mother has a brisket in the oven and she's baking bread. No, Dad, at the gates, we have to go. Sick. Better to run on a full stomach than an empty stomach. The kid pulls the bread out, and that's how we have matzah. Sorry. I don't know, us Jews, we love our food. We love our food. I have an uncle, Uncle Ira, God rest his soul. He died in the Holocaust because of cold cuts. He had escaped the Nazis, but he realized he left a hot pastrami sandwich in the fridge, and he went back to get it. Very sad. Very sad. His wife, my Aunt Edith, never remarried. And let me tell you, at every wedding and bar mitzvah, she broke down at the carving stations. It was really very, very sad to see. A lot of Jews, they want to grow up and they want to become a doctor. I'm a lazy Jew. I married a doctor. And whenever I ask my wife, I ask her questions about COVID, and you know what she says to me? I don't know. I don't know. It's a new disease. I don't know. I'm like, what the hell good are you? The barista at Starbucks knows the answers, and you don't know? Everyone's an expert in everything lately, right? Everyone's an expert. This woman was talking to me about climate change, and she was making some really good points, and I said, my God, you're making some really good points. I'm so impressed. Can you recommend a book or two on climate change? And she said, wait, there are books on climate change? I didn't know that. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But listen, people, listen. I have gotten myself a movie deal. I have been working really hard during this pandemic, and I finally got myself a movie deal. You know, superheroes are really big. They got Black Panther, black superhero, woman superhero, Wonder Woman. They even have a transgender superhero. They even have a Protestant superhero called the Wasp. We'll let that sink in. I will be the new Jewish superhero, the Jewish Kvetch. And my superpower is I make the villains feel so guilty that they surrender. Go ahead, Rachel. Destroy the universe. See if I care, but just know you're breaking your mother's heart. Kyle, we worked and slaved. We sent you to college, and then we took out loans and sent you to med school. And you grow up and become an evil doctor? What the hell's wrong with you? Oh, look at you, Mark. flying from planet to planet on those fancy schmancy flying machines, destroying all life form. That you have time for, but to visit your parents you have no time. What's the matter with you? But like every superhero, I do have my kryptonite. Oh my God, is that a clearance sale? That stops me cold. So it's interesting. It's coming out in the summer. I hope you see the movie. But, you know, my time is coming to an end, but I want to just leave you with a story. Everyone is so angry at each other, and everyone is so mean. And I want to tell you a lovely story that happened to me, and maybe everyone can be a little kinder to each other. I was going to a supermarket, and I'm sure this happened to you. I parked all the way in back because I don't know how a parallel park, to be honest with you. And I come in, and it's snowing, and it's sleeting, and I finally get to the front of the store, and I realize, oh my God, I don't have my mask. Right? I don't have my mask. And I literally broke down. I just couldn't take it. I was almost near tears. And this guy comes out of the supermarket. He said, "What's the matter, man?" I said, "Man, I don't have my mask, and I don't want to go back to my car in the snow and the sleet." He said, "No problem." You know what this kind fellow did named Jake? You know what he did? He took his own mask off his face and gave it to me to wear. That's what he did. Be like Jake, please. Be like Jake. Stay happy. Stay healthy. That's my time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Brilliant. Terrific. Let's hear it again for Goldberg. Brilliant. What a boy. Fantastic. Terrific. Okay, guys. Well, we're going to carry straight on. And our next act is a guy from New York City, and he's done a lot of clubs in New York, and he's very big on the circuit there. So let's hear it for the wonderful Bruce Lipsky. Woo.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, Goldberg is talking about his parents and everything. I have very elderly parents too. My dad, I think he's losing it. He's convinced that stand-up MRI is a comedy club. The other day, I had to take him to the hospital for some tests. They're in the elevator, and this technician wheels in this machine with all these tubes and hoses. My father looked at him and says, "Mister, you're not going to hook me up to that machine today, are you?" The guy goes, "I hope not for your sake. It's a carpet cleaner." You know, I think, you know, I just turned 65, and I'm worried about turning into my parents. I looked in the mirror the other day. I look like a beat up, old, rusted out Buick. The body is totally shot and out of alignment. My rear end is making funny sounds. My hoses are leaking, and my ball joints have all dried up. I said, "Oh, I better get Mako." Mako says, "No, you better get Medicare." Some of you young guys in the crowd over here are going to laugh at me. Laugh at me. 20 years from now, you're going to look in the mirror. You're going to look like a rusted old Prius. It used to be in my house, if I had a leak, I'd call a plumber. Now I call my urologist. I mean, it's $50 cheaper. You know, good old days. Goldberg and I, we go out to the discotheques, Studio 54 in New York City. We get on the dance floor, we meet a woman, we go bust a move. I'm afraid to take my wife dancing. And they bust a hip. Starting to forget things. I swear my foam mattress has a better memory than I do. I'm at the stage in my life, I change the batteries in my nose hair trimmer more often than I do on my TV remote. And during COVID, I watched a lot of TV. But when you get older, you got to stay in shape. So I took up an exercise program, but I only exercise late at night, between the hours of 3 and 5 in the morning. I run sprints from the bedroom to the bathroom. My wife calls it my fleet of pee. Good news is I got my time down under 6 seconds. But unfortunately, I only can hold my pee for 4.2. My wife is a fitness nut. Takes goat yoga. She finds it very therapeutic and relaxing, especially when the goat jumps on her back and licks her ears. I said, wait a second. When I tried that last week, you slapped me and threw me out of the bedroom. And now you're paying a goat to do that. She says, well, he's got great technique and fresher breath. So I said, they'd allow kids in the class? She said, no, they only use adult goats. My wife and I just celebrated an anniversary. 30 years of wedded bliss. Oh, no, wedded blisters. I'm sorry. That's because all these years you've been rubbing me the wrong way, and I got the calluses to prove it. And before I met my wife, I dated a lot of people. I even dated a very famous TV weather person. But unfortunately, the first time we got intimate was like a bad winter forecast. She was predicting 10 to 12. All she got was 2 to 4. Why was she angry? Now I know why they name hurricanes after women. But my wife worked on Wall Street for 35 years, always in business mode. It's everything on an Excel spreadsheet. I wish you'd excel at spreading and putting out between the sheets. But, I give her a lot of credit. She's an amazing lady. During this pandemic, I tested positive for COVID. And since we were quarantined, sex was out of the question. The loving lady that she is, she took one of her Victoria's Secret black lace bras and made masks out of them. Thankfully, she's a double E, or else it would never fit over the Jewish nose. You should have seen what I did for her with my athletic supporter. And she recently bought one of these designer dogs. $6,000 on this thing. Carries it around like a Gucci handbag. Except the Gucci handbag only costs $3,000. And I'd rather have the handbag. At least it doesn't need to be walked 6 times a day. And she's named him Fabio. Fabio. I call him Houdini. Because with 2 wags of his tail, he's made my sex life completely disappear. You know how hard it is to perform in bed with 4 legs and a pair of eyes staring at you? And the dog? Now he's trying to give me pointers. He whispered to me the other day, next time try it on all 4s. And she says she wants his puppies, but I fixed them. And my wife just put us on a new diet. It's called the tainted lettuce diet. I lost 7 pounds in 2 days. Somebody said, was it from the romaine? I said, I couldn't tell you, but once it kicked in, nothing remained in my body for more than 30 seconds. And my wife runs out the house like a 5-star restaurant, which is kind of apt because every time she cooks, I get reservations. And during this pandemic, she's been obsessed with buying on Amazon. The packages are nonstop. They just rezoned my front porch as a loading dock. The boxes are stacked to the roof. Every time I try to pull something out, I feel like I'm playing a game of Jenga for giants. Constantly going from the front porch to the living room downstairs. I feel like a personal delivery monkey. Her Amazon primate. She asked me what I wanted for my birthday. I said, how about a forklift? And the other day I caught a painting on the driveway reserved for UPS, and it really disturbed me. I think she's having an affair with the UPS guy. She's constantly bragging about how big his package is. Now she insists on only backdoor delivery. What's that all about? I know what Brown's doing for her, but what's he doing for me? Now she's into fantasy role play. I have to dress up in brown shorts, construction boots, and carry a clipboard. Anytime I want to have sex, I got to sign for it. This is making my family life miserable. The only smiles in my house now are the ones on the cardboard boxes. But we love doing things together. Broadway shows, nice dinners, the UPS guy. And since we've been married so long, we needed a new mattress. 30 years without a new mattress. So many choices. I know I like mine soft. She likes hers hard. Like I haven't heard that over the last 30 years. She bought a $3,000 avocado mattress. She says she's going green. She's not going green. She's spending my green. They say it's organic. I don't want organic in my bedroom. I want orgasmic. And she got one of those adjustable beds, so it's Craftmatics. Don't have an argument with your wife there. We had a fight. She took the remote control and put the bed in the shape of a V. I said, honey, I can't get in. She said, that's not the only V you're not getting into tonight. Thank you. My name is Bruce Lipsky. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you. Great stuff, Bruce. Rodney Dangerfield, brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Let's hear it again for the wonderful Bruce Lipsky. Fantastic. Folks, can you, if you haven't got your microphones on, please turn them on, because the people performing like to hear the laughter or the silence if I'm on. So please, mics on, please, and videos on as well, so we can see who's here. Okay, so I think we're going to go straight on with our third act. And a really great artist. She's from the USA, currently living in Germany. And she was one of the first people to apply for a slot on Punchline Online. We're delighted to have her with us. So please, let's hear it for Erin Crouch.
Hello. Did you know that women are... Did you know I can't follow directions? Did you know that women are born with all the jokes they'll ever have already inside their bodies? Thank you for laughing. I'll never have that one back. I'm an existentialist and a feminist, so I believe that men have no meaning. I was really excited to do this show because actually UK Zoom gigs are my favorite kind. That's because they pay the best. I don't know if you know this, but the camera adds 10 pounds. I do have some questions about the UK though. My first question is, if an injection is a stab, how come a surgery isn't a stab? I'm pretty excited to be here. Like I said, this is a good show, but this is not the best show that I've ever been on. The best show that I was on had automatic closed captioning that went across the bottom. And when they brought me up, the closed captioning said, "Now let's hear from Erin's crotch." It made me feel like I could only do crotch-related jokes. Luckily, I had a few. I do live in Germany. I don't know if you know this, but we are still in very hard quarantine here. Everything's closed except for grocery stores. We're wearing medical masks everywhere. What I'm saying is that I haven't been outside in so long that the last time I saw a traffic light, I tried to click on it to prove that I wasn't a robot. But as bad as we have it here in Germany, we do not have it as bad as Russia. I don't know if you're aware, but in Russia, the dolls, because of Corona, are not allowed to nest. My husband actually is a frontline worker here. He works in the hospital. And so you can imagine that the past year was pretty stressful for him. When things got bad, he did turn to me for advice. And that's how we both got this fringe. I feel like I've learned a lot in lockdown, though. One of the things I learned is that any joke can be a coronavirus joke if you tell it to an empty room. Or if it kills. I learned that I like my men like I like my coronavirus, not attracted to children. I have been trying to use my time in lockdown wisely. For example, I created a playlist that I listen to while I poop. The first song on that playlist is Brown Eyed Girl. And the last song is Every Which Way But Loose. In full disclosure, I want to say that I have changed the name of my living room to Just Getting By Room. Because things have gotten pretty weird in here. So I am from the States. I do live in Germany. I'm not just from any state, though. I'm actually from Alaska. All right. Yeah, proper response there. Normally, when I talk about being from Alaska, what I learn is that me being from there and growing up there is not as interesting as how you've always wanted to go. Or maybe your aunt was there on a cruise one time. I get it. You know, Alaska's wasted on Alaskans. A lot of people don't think about, when they think about Alaska, just how big it is, right? Like here in Germany, it's 10 p.m. And in my hometown in Alaska, it is still 1993. Alaska. I feel like I could have been bisexual if there had been another woman there. Speaking of other women, I'm pretty happy that there's more than one woman on this show. That's pretty cool. Being a woman comedian in Germany is a lot like that optical illusion, like where you look at it one way and it's an old woman and you look at it another way and it's a young woman, and a booker looks at it and says, two women, they're not both getting on here. I did move to Germany. It was a very old person thing for me to do because I traded a country with legal weed for one that has affordable health care. And yesterday I told someone, thank you for your concern instead of shut the fuck up. So I'm definitely an old person. I am here. I'm trying to learn German. It turns out that learning other languages is like riding a bike. Americans don't really do that. Germans are amazing, though. Germans can do anything. Germans have made being naked not sexy. I feel like life is like a box of chocolates. It's better outside the US. My favorite thing to do here is walk around asking people what kind of dog they have. And if they say it's a German Shepherd, I say, that's just a shepherd here. I do miss live gigs, but I feel like it's important that we don't romanticize them. The last show that I did in the US, I went up after a guy who was terrible. And when I went outside, he was my Uber driver. That's a true story. Other things I've learned in here. Did you know that you can tell how old a bathtub is by counting the rings? What else have I been up to? I've been watching a lot of feminist porn recently. Feminist porn is just regular porn, but when the plumber shows up, it's a woman. And she's in a union. You can tell I watch feminist porn. You can see my French. Let's see what else. I've been having a period recently, but it's actually less of a period than it is a semicolon, because every time I think it's over, there's a little bit more. I actually got into stand-up comedy so I could spend less time with my family. I've been trying to take it down to where I'm a bad mom, but for a dad, I'm pretty involved. I hate to drive, and I would have to say that driving phobia is the worst phobia you can have because it's the only one you're not allowed to drink away. My husband gets really mad about it too, and he hates driving me around. It's pretty bad for me because the only thing that kills more women than car wrecks is husbands. What other things that I've learned? Any genes can be mom genes if you expect too much from them. People think I'm a smoker, but actually I just like to take breaks and my clothes smell bad. I have been trying to focus on things that aren't related to the coronavirus. So I've been thinking a lot about people who do stupid shit and then they die taking selfies. You guys know about this? We talk about that like it's a bad thing, but actually people have died doing stupid shit for thousands of years, and we did not used to get pictures. So before I get out of here, I think that's my time. Here in Germany, the vaccine rollout has been really slow, so there's still time for me to die of corona. I'm okay with that though, because I really want to die how I lived, which is misunderstood by angry men on the internet. Thank you so much.
Well done, Erin. Great stuff. Thank you, Erin. Let's hear it once again for Erin Crouch, all the way from Germany. Well done. Actually, last time I got drunk, it was in Germany. I woke up the next morning with a hangover, but never mind that. Yeah, no, I went to see the doctor the other day about I've got an addiction to eating mints, and he told me it was just a mental health problem, but you know, that's the way it goes. And I can only tell that joke after 8. But let's carry on, ladies and gentlemen, because our fourth act of the evening will be coming on in a minute. But before that, I'm going to announce the winner of the February Joke of the Month competition. Now, there were everyone who performed in February. We chose one of their jokes, and everyone was welcome to vote on them. And I'm not going to tell you how the votes were counted, because that will be telling. So here we go. The winner of last month's Joke Punchline Online Joke of the Month was, and here we go. It's coming, hang on. David Green, and here's the joke.
I never went to university, but if I did, something tells me I would have spent a lot of money. Intuition.
Well done, David Green. He's going to go on the Wall of Fame, winning the February one. Of course, we'll be doing one for March as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to carry on now with our next wonderful comic, who originates from Bristol in the west of England. Very, very funny guy, very talented. Please let's hear it for Phil Wathern.
Oh, cheers. Big thanks to Mark and Carl for having me on tonight. Wordplay and one-liners usually only make up kind of some of my sets, but I thought this would be quite a lot of fun. Before I get into the jokes, though, I did just want to start kind of on a more serious note. So, as Mark says, I come from Bristol, where we had the tearing down of the Colston statue last year. And I think that, combined with, you know, the rise of Black Lives Matter movement, it's really had me reflecting on myself and how I'm perceived. And I've realized that it's not enough just to be a kind-hearted, tolerant person these days. I do actively want to be seen as anti-racist. My nephew still insists on calling me Uncle Racist, so... He's transphobic. My nephew was doing his homework last night, making kind of a graphical depiction of locally made backless seats. His teacher seemed to like it, but I thought his Bristol store chart was just a load of shit. I actually bought my nephew a bike for his birthday one year, but apparently it was too obvious from the shape of it what it was that was wrapped up, so he wasn't happy the element of surprise had been ruined. So the next year, tried much harder to disguise the shape of his present. He still wasn't happy. Apparently, there's just no way to reattach the legs to a dog, so... Probably a good time to mention some of my jokes tonight, maybe a bit dark or distasteful, but let me assure you, I won't be doing any jokes about horses finishing races, because those cross the line. any jokes about overshooting your intended destination, because that is going too far. And I won't be doing any jokes about the TV show Mrs. Brown's Boys, because there is nothing funny about that. To any fans of Mrs. Brown's Boys in the audience, all I can say is that I'm sorry that you exist. Some of these are jokes, some of them just opinions. Anyway, you're probably all sick of Harvey Weinstein jokes by now, I guess. Me too. To tell you a bit about myself, I'm unfit. That's not supposed to be the funny part, Mark, but thank you. Actually used to make my living in boxing rings till I lost my job at H. Samuel. In my defense, how was I supposed to know that wasn't the kind of pearl necklace she was after? But I tried out Weight Watchers for a bit. Downside though is how long it can take waiting around for your turn at the weigh-in. I found that a well-timed phone call can clear that queue if you just set your ringtone to an ice cream van jingle. So before lockdown, I did get myself into a good routine though. Every day without fail, hit the gym, hit the weights, hit the pool. And people thought that those names were the cruelest thing I do to those kids. On the subject of gyms, though, I have heard recently that there's an arrest warrant out for the man with the world's largest biceps. Police have warned that he's heavily armed. Products Ron Seal claims that it does exactly what it says on the tin. So does that mean if you throw some at a Catholic priest, he'd keep out of reach of children? I did get a new tattoo recently. I asked the tattooist what's popular, and he suggested that a single Chinese or Japanese character with a lot of personal meaning. So I got Mr. Miyagi from The Karate Kid. I watched a film last night all about guerrilla warfare. It was Planet of the Apes. And Daft Punk have announced that they're not going to perform together again. Not even one more time. On the subject of music, I went to see a Wailers tribute act last week. That turned out to just be a load of old Japanese men trying to harpoon Shamu. So why is it, other than Shamu, all the famous blubbery mammals that there have been named after penises? Has anyone ever noticed that? There's Moby Dick, Free Willy, Boris Johnson, all of them. I like to gamble so much that my friends and family keep threatening that they're going to sign me up for Gamblers Anonymous, but I bet they won't. They say that diligence is the mother of good luck, which just goes to show that a lot of people have been taking baby naming tips from Bob Geldof and Elon Musk. Little known fact, an elderly relative of mine once captured a small island off the east coast of the USA. Now I know what you're thinking, Nantucket, but no, it was actually my granddad. Speaking of the USA, I actually used to work giving directions around the American Animal Body Parts Museum. I spent all day instructing people they can go left for deer heads or it's their right to bear arms. Best part of the Animal Body Parts Museum is the insect zone. It's the bee's knees in there. But in the end, I quit after discovering how lazy all of my co-workers were. I got trapped under the hand of a life-size model of King Kong. They wouldn't even lift a finger to help. People always seem to tell me that I'm not good at my profession as a children's vocabulary teacher and I should quit, but I don't know the meaning of the word. I tend to think of myself as unlucky in love, because that sounds a hell of a lot better than thoroughly unfuckable. I was actually engaged once upon a time though, till my fiance went crazy, destroyed every pair of socks that I own. I got cold feet after that.
Brilliant.
It's desirable in home furnishing to have all matching furniture. I think Ed Gein took that too far, though. For anyone unfamiliar with Ed Gein, he used to make furniture out of human skin. Pretty grisly and horrific, I know, but if you ask me, still preferable to a trip to IKEA. So means something very different when Ed Gein talks about a bookcase called Billy, I can tell you. I'll leave you with this one though, because one of the most famous things Ed Gein ever made was a lampshade that you could actually identify as being one of his victims on site, which sounds horrific, I know, but apparently she was actually very pleased with the idea. Anytime you turn that lamp on, her face just lit up. So Wathern, cheers.
Brilliant. Oh my God. Well, let's give it up for the absolutely brilliant Phil. Absolutely superb. Fantastic. Great stuff. Okay, well, we're certainly having a lot of fun tonight. This is a terrific gig. So, go straight on to the fifth penultimate act of the evening. And as I said before, this guy came in at the last moment when someone pulled out 11 o'clock last night, and he offered to come on. He's absolutely brilliant, all the way from Portsmouth. Please, let's hear it for Daniel Edison, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening. So, my name's Daniel Edison. I'll tell you about myself. As a child, I lived in the Black Forest. Yeah, I tell you, it was tough growing up in the ghetto. Last night I had a Zoom call with my girlfriend, and we said those three special words to each other. You're on mute. But I'm trying to take care of my health, be fitter. I'm on a new diet. This morning I made a vegan shake. I threatened him with a beef burger. I'll tell you about me. All my family are gamblers. I'm no better. As a kid, I was terrified of Daddy Longlegs till I realised there's nothing to be scared of, and it was just my dad on stilts. You know, he wears stilts. I still look up to him. My dad is also an inventor. I remember him years ago saying he was working on the world's first working invisibility cloak. And I think he did it because I haven't seen him for years. But I don't drink a lot. My dad does. He likes strong beer. Like, he likes beer to be at least 20% of his diet. I wanted to buy a Liam Neeson DVD, but all the good ones were taken. I also wanted to buy the sequel, but that was taken too. But I love watching movies. Last night I saw a film about a man with 2 noses, 3 ears and 4 eyes. I didn't enjoy it, but I like the bonus features. I bought a car recently. A guy came up to me. He said, "Daniel, you got an automatic?" I said, "Actually, it's a manual." He said, "Oh, sorry. A manual, you got an automatic?" My local bus station is providing a rail replacement service, which is just what I need because my curtains keep falling down. Might drop that one. Anyway, so many people are compulsive liars. I thought that today as I walked around my golden mansion, and with a 100-acre garden. Nice. My brother, Raymond, got a job at the Disney store selling Aladdin toys. He didn't know if he'd be working in the day or doing late shifts, so I called him up. I said, will our Ray be in nights? I went to the Disney store myself and I bought a magic lamp. I rubbed it and 3 women came out. I thought, that's a bit sexist. Can't we get Aladdin here? Anyway, I'll be honest, I walked up to the lamp, I started to sneeze. It's because of my genealogy. The genie gave me 2 wishes. He said, what would you like? I said, honestly, if I could change the colour of one of the 7 dwarves, I would die happy.
Oh my God.
I spoke to a conjoined twin today, but he didn't listen. He went in one ear and out his brother. I went to a car showroom. They said, what are you looking for? I said, because I can't afford to buy one. I tried cloning recently. Yeah, cloning. I didn't want to, but I made myself. My estate agent is going through gender reassignment. He just had his semi-detached. My multiplication joke just doesn't work. My multiplication joke never seems to work. I've tried it 4 times too. I've been getting my girlfriend into astrology recently, and a friend of mine said, Daniel, it's all nonsense. It's completely made up. Seriously, there's no evidence whatsoever that you have a girlfriend. My girlfriend says wearing a spinal support will change her life, but I think it's just holding her back. My girlfriend has eczema and she's older than me. She doesn't look at me. She has cracking skin. Bit of dry humour for you there. My ex-girlfriend, Rose, left me when I started stealing her pens. To make things worse, as she walked out, I said, bye, Rose. My girlfriend thought it was sexy if I cooked in the nude, so I tried it and lost my job as a chef. The government says vaccines will be administered by June. I feel for that poor woman. But she is getting a hand from her sister, because in America, they're going to be done by May. Oh, that's good. Lockdown's made me so lazy. Like, you be the judge. Last week, I went to see my doctor in my dressing gown. God knows how he got into my wardrobe. Now, I actually went to see my doctor because I had a problem. Chesty cough. He's a Russian doctor. That's his name. I've got a problem with the hearing in one of my ears. He said, are you sure? I said, yes. I'm definite. Never mind. He did an X-ray. He found models of the Eiffel Tower, the Arc de Triomphe, and the Moulin Rouge in my stomach. It turned out I had parasites. Yeah, still, it wasn't all bad. I mean, he finally cured me of being nocturnal. Yeah, I thought I'd never see the day, honestly. I said to my friend, I said, people keep accidentally asking me to purchase meat for them. He said, by mistake. I said, not you as well. I've got this problem. I wish I could stop naming Bruce Willis films. I guess old habit. Pulp Fiction. My girlfriend, because I kept treating our house like a cafe, I said, please, allow me 2 eggs plain. I went to a restaurant recently. I said to my friend, I said, I just ate a space rock. He said, did it taste meaty? I said, oh, it was meaty, all right. But anyway, I'll leave you on this. My girlfriend is a vet, right? She loves animals. So on the first week together, I bought her a little tabby kitten, and she loves cats, so she was thrilled. Second week together, I bought her a little brown puppy. And the third week together, I bought her a fluffy white rabbit, which she loved. But she did say to me, she said, Daniel, we've only been together 3 weeks, and you've already bought me a cat, a dog, and a rabbit. We need to slow things down. So I bought her a tortoise. And if I'm honest, I think that's when I went too far, because she left me. And as she walked out, I said, bye, Rose. I'm Daniel Edison. I'm on Twitter at Dan Edison. Thank you.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you so much. Brilliant. Well, that was a great set from Daniel. Let's hear it again, Daniel Edison.
Great set, man.
Absolutely fantastic. Brilliant. I mean, the art of the one-line joke there for you with a young man with a great career ahead of him. Fantastic. So people ask me stupid questions. Somebody asked me what's Brian Ferry's favourite drink, and well, Scotch on the Roxy, I expect. And I was raised by an alcoholic Australian couple. I was fostered. That's how it goes. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're now ready for our final act, our headliner tonight. Now, this lady was on the first show, and we were so impressed with her set there. We had to invite her back to headline tonight. She's a really brilliant wordsmith comedian. So give all your love and a lot of applause to the absolutely brilliant Rachel Rothenberg.
Is there supposed to be music? Hello.
Apparently not tonight. Yeah.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Rachel Rothenberg. I'm a very formal person. Instead of getting high, I get salutations. I must confess, I did get stoned before the show. I committed some biblical caliber crimes. I consider myself a lady, but in the way that you scream it in traffic, you know, like, "Hey, lady, I'm driving here." I'm a very pedantic person, to the extent that my favorite classic rock band is The Whom. I was raised part Jewish and part goth, so my second favorite classic rock band is Black Shabbat. I'm very into period clothing, which is to say that I love to free bleed in vintage dresses. True fact about me. But hey, guys, I usually wear a women's large, but when I talk to the dead, I'm a medium. I grew up a feminist child. So when I had a crush on a boy, I would find myself writing in my notebooks over and over my first name with my last. Nowadays, I grew into a feminist adult. So nowadays, when a man says, "Make me a sandwich," I put him between 2 slices of bread and I eat him. That's a feminist dad joke. Okay. I am indeed heterosexual. I am a heterosexual, but only because I can't play the weird one in my comedic double act without a straight man. Yeah. I got married this past year, and we had to postpone our wedding due to COVID. And it turns out that we really should have stuck to our original plan of getting married on 9/11 of the previous year, but we got engaged in April of that year, and we decided that 9/11 of that year was just too soon. You know? I mangled that. Speaking of 9/11, though, just a side note about 9/11, I do think it's very, very sad that I live in a culture that's gotten so politically correct that we can't say "Marry 9/11" anymore. Okay. Anyway, I'm definitely not a trophy wife, but I am an atrophy wife insofar as since I got married, I haven't been moving at all, and my muscles are disintegrating. My husband and I are in an interracial relationship because only one of us is named that. My husband beats me at games like chess and Scrabble. He's a very smart man. I always say that in a healthy and sex-positive heterosexual relationship, one of you ought to be easy and the other one ought to be hard. That's just my advice. But my husband, though, he can't get hard for hours after working on the assembly line. He calls it his refractory period. He tries to do it flaccid anyway, and I have to tell him, I just don't know if I have it in me. I told my husband to go pound sand, and what do you know? He fucked the beach. That is the stupidest joke in my repertoire. Maybe. My husband did recently confide in me that he got a hand job from a doctor. And now his hands are the most beautiful hands I've ever seen, and he's pursuing a career as a hand model. Incredible stuff. Some of these jokes have gotten a little bit depraved. I have to admit, I have been diagnosing myself with various depravities lately while reading the BDSM-5. I've been showing off that patch of skin between my midriff and my vagina, knowing full well that that's a faux pas. People have often told me that with a face like mine, I should have been a 1920s actress. And then they specified that I should have been a 1920s radio actress. Mean. Anyway, nonetheless, I consider myself something of a siren, like a siren, like the mythical, gorgeous maidens of yore who lured sailors to their doom by singing, woo, woo, woo. Oh my God. I earned myself a stalker, and my stalker held the door open for me, and he said, "I am after you." He followed me to a young women's beauty pageant held at a KFC. He told me he wanted to ogle the chick contenders. He reminded me of an English professor I once had, a professor like a cat collar, He was always telling me, "You should simile more." I went to college in England, got knocked unconscious, and stayed unconscious for a long time. The Oxford coma. That joke requires some backtracking. I went to college in England, got knocked unconscious for a long time. All right. Someone stole my organs while I was in the coma, and as a result, I was unable to play any of my gigs at the local church. I wound up in therapy, where I fell in love, okay? I told my therapist I loved her using a slideshow cast in light upon a wall, and she told me I was projecting. During my time in England, I ate a seafood dinner with J.K. Rowling. You know, surf and turf. Yeah, but make no mistake, from the politics of that joke, I have indeed purchased leftists as slaves on the dark web just to own the libs. I'm also an author. I've written a cookbook, but my cookbook is for millennials, so it's entitled Salt, Fat, Ass, and Heat. Despite being a millennial myself, I am unfortunately ass intolerant. It runs right through me. I have IBS, but listen, I haven't shit my pants in years, not since I started wearing skirts and dresses. I find myself going through the same routine every day with my IBS. You know, I wake up and I'm inevitably hurting and then sent into a panic attack by the pain. And then I inevitably clog my toilet and I have to unclog it using a pipe snake. And then I look down upon myself and in a moment of sheer body horror, I realize that I am nude because that's how I tend to sleep and hang out at home. And then I have to smoke a bowl and cancel whatever plans I made for the day. And I call this routine the wake and ache and shake and quake and snake and nake and bake and flake. I do spend a lot of time in the bathroom, and as such, I keep a book in there on the Velvet Underground for those times when I need a little Lou Reed. I went to the hospital for this, among other complaints. I told a doctor at the hospital that I feel itchy anytime I hear a Utah accent, and the doctor replied, "Well, of course you do. That's because you have an East inflection." That only makes sense if you know the geography of the United States. Okay. I also, while I was there, I went to an orthodonto-gynecologist to get my crooked vagina fixed, and he prescribed me panty aligners. I brought my cat with me to the hospital because she also was in need of medical care. You know, she was pregnant with a single kitten, but she wasn't ready to be a mom, so I took her to the vet for 9 abortions. She got pregnant again later on with a litter this time, a litter of 6, but her career was just starting to take off, so I had to take her back to the vet for 54 abortions. Oh my God. At the vet, I met a sheep who was also a lesbian, and I had to tell her, "You do you, girl." At that same vet, I met a male deer whom I paid $1 for sex. Talk about getting my bang for my buck. Oh my God. I saw 2 babies get a divorce. After I heard one of them say to the other one, "I think we should split up." I think that's actually the dumbest joke. Okay, I have now addressed baby divorce, bestiality, and prior to that, I believe I addressed all of the orifices. I've always fancied myself a wholesome comedian. But I have to say, I think the worst thing about being a raunchy comedian is having no private parts. All right, I'm basically out of time, so I'm going to just leave you guys with a piece of advice that perhaps you can take with you. Did you know you are allowed to die while driving as long as you do it in the passing lane? And that's it for me. Thank you so much.
That's brilliant. Whoa, fantastic. Well, Rachel, my God. Superb set, Rachel. Brilliant. What a great night. I mean, let's hear it for Rachel again. That was fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. And let's hear it for everyone who performed tonight. The wonderful Goldberg and Bruce Lipsky, Erin Crouch, and Phil Wathern, Daniel Edison, and Rachel Rothenberg. And let's also have a big round of applause for Kyle Davis, who produces this show absolutely brilliantly. Kyle, did your team win tonight? He's obviously not there. Okay, great. But we've had a fantastic night, and thanks very much indeed for coming. We greatly appreciate people who've watched and people who've performed. The next show will be late April. We'll send out details, and we hope you can all, everybody can come to that one and future shows. And you can always listen to our Punchline podcast, which comes out every month. And in fact, the interviewee for the April edition coming out on the first Friday of April was Rachel Rothenberg, and she gave an absolutely brilliant interview, insight into being a stand-up comedian. So that's it. Thank you so much for coming. Kyle, are you there? Apparently not. We're going to have to say good night, and we love you all, and thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Thanks.
Whoa! Well done, everyone. Oh, he's here, Kyle. Kyle, can you hear me? Kyle? No.